Hi, welcome to Accounts Playable. We'll retake stock of what just happened. Thank you. This is an after show, not a before show.
No.
So if you haven't watched the episode, go back.
Yeah, don't. You're in the wrong show. Just do the other show.
So leave. Get the. Ugh.
You're not welcome.
No, it's not for you. It'll be for you in about an hour.
Yeah.
So once again, we saw the Crawfather coming in for blood.
Dude, the Crawfather is the Crawfather is really like at the apex of his game when he can run these like essentially like they're connected overall, but like these individual like bottle episodes where he can just completely own it. Like this one was really, really fun. Mm-hmm. J. Craw stands an aberrant queen.
He stands any queen, frankly, at this point.
That's true.
I actually was wondering, especially with both of you, very significant amounts of time spent with our friend, Mr. Perkins.
Indeed, C-Perk.
With the alternation of this sort, what have you noticed as far as the differences betwixt them? Are you starting to notice like a really clear divide? Like it is fun, of course, to say, no, our sub let us do this.
Well, they definitely have a different style.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that you can really like butter up J. Craw with the rule of cool.
J. Craw is absolutely subservient to cool.
Yeah. So if you can think of something cool enough, he'll be like, absolutely, that's the rules. Which I think is cool because he is the rules designer.
Exactly. And so I think that for him, like, it's a little like naughty.
Yeah.
Like he gets to like bend the rules a little bit. But the truth is, here's what we've determined. They just each have their favorites, that's all. And you know what I mean?
Who's
like
favorite? Tell us.
C-Perk likes certainty.
Yeah.
C-Perk
Certainty or Jasmine? Is this a situation where we are blending the rules, or is it just?
No, it's the same entity. For table purposes, like when she's like trying to invoke the spirit like in the sarcophagus, and I'm like, there's no fucking way C-Perk's gonna let this shit fly. No problem. If I try to do that, no dice. Jasmine tries to do it. Hey, wow.
What an incredible
best friend who's also a pick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I definitely get that. And
I'm not even mad.
I think that C-Perk gets...
Are we sticking with C-Perk?
Why
Is
not?
C-Perk? Okay, that's fine. I was just curious. I just wanted to make sure it's canon. Go ahead. Sorry, what were you
he
saying?
also goes by Kappa.
Yeah.
But anyways, that guy, the other guy, he really...
A real dad.
Yes. Our first dad.
Yeah.
He really likes emotion, and he knows how to milk like terror and just like despair out of us.
Yeah.
So when he does that, you'll see him like giggle gleefully, and that's when you know you've really like got Chris Perkins.
Yeah. And that's what you have to do. But Chris very much, they're both old school dungeon masters. Like that's the most important thing, right? And you can tell in these adventures that it's all the throwbacks. It's all the stuff. Like as soon as these monsters hit the table, like a bullet, a fucking shambling mound. Now he's flexing on the eye. Yeah, like these are like, they love these things, right? But Chris Perkins is the old school DM who is essentially playing a game against you.
And I guess what I was getting at as well is that underneath all that, he like knows your character better than you do.
There's no question.
And he's planning this arc that he's like 7 steps ahead of you, and you're about to discover this deep thing about your character. So it's like, you know, maybe you think that you're getting just like completely mashed right now, but there's a reason for that later all of a sudden there's going to be this like revelation.
He uses the mechanics like in the storytelling, like this is how he tells you the story is with like D&D rules, but he is very much playing a competitive game against players.
Yeah.
And that's one of the mechanics that he's using. Whereas J. Craw really is just like, he's just so happy to be there with you in this incredible place that we all...
To be entertained.
Yes, and to have fun and to experience these impossible things. Like, they both are experts at the rules, but they use the rules to communicate the game in different ways.
So using the dad metaphor, there is a very it's very like a dad. How like a dad to emotionally manipulate and terrify you and delight in the terror. And then much like a stepdad, not the stepdad, but the dad who stepped up, there is a desire to, if you can give me a good enough pitch, take you to McDonald's.
Exactly.
No, you can
Anytime
have ice
you
cream
ask.
for dinner.
Anytime. If you can make a good argument, absolutely.
You can drink Sprite for breakfast.
Absolutely.
Like you
It's
learn how
there.
to make a PowerPoint presentation, and all of a sudden you can get anything from your dad.
It's lemon and it's lime.
But Ronya, like my youngest, is absolutely
You
done
learn
it.
how to make a
She's
PowerPoint
like, hey,
presentation.
This
It's
is
over.
why I should be allowed to watch Heartstopper on Netflix by myself. And I was like, there's a lot of pages here.
Believe it or not, I have more questions, but I have been delighted.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm always happy to. We can do an hour-long exegesis on the nature of our two dads.
I could.
We could call the after show the Exit Jesus. I like accounts playable.
Okay, we're done. We're done.
I like accounts playable.
I had a title, Jerry. Come in here and you shit on it. It's fine. It's fine. So is Chippy dead, or is Jeremy simply unable to do a good German
don't
accent?
think he wants to do
I don't
the
think so.
German
I saw him open his mouth
accent.
to try to
No,
do the
right, and he's
accent.
like, why? Why
He was
would
like,
I do this?
No.
Do we think he's going to keep him dead, or do you think there's going to be some Berlitz
I think he's
tapes?
just gonna go to sleep during J-Crowd game. Go to sleep.
Mysteriously sleep every
Exactly.
other.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm so tired, and then he's gonna come back, and it's like, but it's Chris's character.
Okay. Okay. Or, come back with a voice that just sounds like someone else in that level. So, Miss Alba T. Ross. Miss
Yeah.
Ross.
If you're nasty.
If you're nasty. And apparently, Bobby
Some
is.
are.
Bobby
Yeah.
is filthy. So that's a hat tip to Elizabeth Ferrara, who is a big, busy business boss, one of our Kickstarter
No,
backers.
I know.
It's
I
a
know.
good one.
I am hoping that they are well pleased with their
It's
moist cameo.
Oh, very much. So, did you get the pun?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't. I didn't get
yeah.
the pun. I had to be told by a trusted associate that there was a pun in the name.
it's good.
It's albatross. I didn't get it, and I thought very special about myself.
Honestly, one of my favorite parts of that was like a totally throwaway thing where Bobby goes and tries to get his tickets
He really wants
from
Bob.
the A's here, and then he's like, it's like, yeah, they're 200 gold. It's like, no, that should be a will call. But then he like literally like plays through the guy looking through the. This is nuts. But again, this level is when the impossibility began to tip,
I see. Yes, absolutely.
and I
that.
think we're gonna see more of that.
I mean, so what I think is interesting is that we also got a big boy arena fight. We got our
Yeah.
cube. We got our undead ogre.
Again, classic shit.
I love the
We
cube.
got the super tag team. We got the big block of cheese day, some West Wing ass, Jello eating, Jello wrestling possibly. That's actually what I thought it was.
So this did happen actually.
Yeah, it was. It's been pretty good.
We left it all on the field.
We really left it all
I
on
feel
the
really
field.
good about it, yeah.
Yeah, the potential was realized today. Yeah, fantastic. You know what? I won't even.
We used every hit point we could.
It's true.
No,
There were also
we were
some.
wrung the fuck out by the end of that.
It's true. There have been some deeply jiffable moments in this
think
episode.
so.
There was a sustained eating moment. There was a very good cringe on the part of Mr. Holkins.
Deep cringe.
Yeah, I've just been enjoying it. There was a beholder impression that I think makes a GIF. Everyone was very pleased. It is surprising for a show that takes place with all members seated, but we will enjoy that.
Yeah, we're gonna push through.
Yeah. So let me just change subject really quickly. What's dirtier, a 20 that shows up with modifiers, or the way Mike was done with the 15th anniversary dice debacle?
Yeah, it's really funny. I have not used those particular dice, and then I looked around on the dice for a long time to figure out, okay, well, what does the 15th anniversary symbol represent on this dice? And when I discovered that the 15th anniversary is the 15 on the dice, I felt very, very stupid. And because I had to count, I had spun the dice around and I had to count and count to find the number that wasn't there. But there was a 15 on it.
And this is important because if you'll remember, Jim had rolled a 1 that ruined Jim's magic missile,
And then he ended up taking a bunch of damage and dying again.
and he thought the 1 was the 15th anniversary symbol, so...
Because he was like, because back in the day as a joke, because I have a hard time rolling dice, we had made sets that had the acquisitions incorporated on the 1.
I remember that.
Modern sets have them on the 20.
We
It
have
was too confusing.
truly muddied the waters here.
Yeah, exactly. But it was too confusing. And so, when he would see that other symbol, he would think that was the 1, but the 1 is the 1.
The one is the one.
The number one
is the one.
Yeah, it's true. One is the loneliest number. We leave it alone.
Yeah, don't touch
It's not the 15. I just also want to bring up and just sort of lampshade this. It's only been 4 episodes, and yet we are hitting on beholders. We are talking about modesty shrouds for skeletons, and we are discussing the dick sizes of the undead. How much hornier do you think we're going to go here? Do I need to call the authorities?
This is the horny police?
The horny police.
I think we're at 80%.
Yeah. Do we think that it can go
Like-
beyond 100?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember,
have 6 more
the
episodes.
remember that the entire purpose, this campaign is about impossibility. I want you to imagine a universe where the horniness achieves 200%.
Imagine.
I truly can't.
Imagine when the horniness reaches its zenith.
Imagine
On the
they're
10th.
So horny.
It's easy if you try.
I just did that on camera.
Yeah. I was going to say, this is only episode 4.
No hell below
They
us.
have us.
Because we're already in horny
No, yeah,
now.
because we're there. Yeah.
So a couple last ones from the Discord. Ebongo asks, the Aki games, both live and on stream, seem to be, among other things, a pretty awesome demonstration of improvisation.
Very much.
Any tips for sharing the spotlight in scenes?
Oh my gosh.
That's a good question.
I mean, we're just so. I think that we're very lucky because it's not something that we even actively. I think we've just been doing it so long. Well, we're very, very lucky, I think, to.
Well, both of you are definitely old hands at it.
Yeah.
You've both been doing it a lot for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's tough to think about because it just completely happens. Like once we get up there, or at least part of my issue is that when I'm playing a game like that, I essentially regular cognition stops, and then I just immediately say and react like it's just completely free form. And so it's not tactical. It isn't strategic. I just want everybody to have the maximum amount of fun. And I know that they want the same thing. And so that's what's manufacturing all of it,
Sounds
really.
like I think really hard about my guy, and then I do what my guy would do, and that's what I do.
And it just naturally happens.
Yeah.
It's like at the beginning
And
where
then
I'm
I act like a wizard.
like a wizard.
But the words are not written down for you in a script. This is where it's interesting.
I would say along the same lines, if I'm talking to someone who's I'm just starting to try to do improv in my D&D games,
Yeah.
I think knowing the other characters really well, or having in mind 3 major points about each character, Bobby likes to hit on people, Certainty likes to look things up, Omen likes to lie. Knowing those things,
He does.
then
He loves.
if everyone agrees to the same kind of system of I see a setup for you and I'm gonna throw it over to you, I think thinking about how to set up the other people in your game is one of the most powerful ways to improv, as long as they're doing that in their turn as well.
That's really valuable because I think a lot of people, speaking from my own experience, a lot of people think of improv as something where you say yes and then say as much as you possibly can until someone says yes and louder than you.
Oh, yes,
Whereas-
the competition aspect.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Whereas this is much more of a yes and I'm going to give you literally anything else.
Yeah.
Because I am definitely speaking, but there's more to be done here.
I think that at least in this particular game, and part of it's because we've been playing a long time, part of it's we've been playing a long time together, but I think that we're all trying to set up other people. And so I think that the way that the games come off the way that they do is because it's like a volleyball thing where it's we're all just bumping it and then putting it over and then bumping it. We're all just trying to set the next person up. And then eventually it naturally reaches some kind of conclusion, just based on the scene or the
Occasionally
combat
one of two
or
referees
whatever.
spikes it and says, no, it's
that's
out,
enough.
get out.
It has to stop. There's a line.
Go home.
And
right.
we all are so into the story and into all the other characters. I think that's really important
Yeah,
too.
it's not even
we just
conscious.
want the story to be really cool, and it will be the coolest if we make sure everybody's involved in their best way.
Right.
I love it. Final question. Staghorn asks, how does your character write an opening for a passive-aggressive email, something like per my previous email?
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I think that the Omen version of that is, this is the last mail you will receive.
All right.
The Evelyn version is something like, I'm sure you didn't mean to come off that way, but
Yeah, blistering, actually, in its way.
I'm gonna pray on both of those. But in the meantime, that's all the time we've got for Accounts Playable. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you after the next one.